Today, we're diving into one of the most famous and influential works of philosophy ever written. It's a book that has captivated popes and atheists alike. But here's the really wild part. It was never actually finished. What you're looking at is an early edition of Blaise Pascal's Pensées. It was published way back in 1670, a full 8 years after Pascal himself had died. You see, he didn't leave behind a nice, neat manuscript. What he left was a mess. Hundreds of scattered notes, little jottings, and fragments of ideas.
So that's the big question, isn't it? How on earth did a box of jumbled thoughts, basically a philosophical scrapbook, become this timeless masterpiece? Well, let's figure it out.
Okay, so to really get a handle on this book, we first have to understand what it is, and maybe more importantly, what it isn't. So the word pensées, it's just French for thoughts, and that is literally what this book is. These fragments were supposed to be the raw material for this grand defense of Christianity he was planning to write, but he died before he could ever put the puzzle together.
And you really can't separate the Pensées from the man who wrote them. Blaise Pascal was, to put it mildly, a walking contradiction. He was living with this profound internal conflict.
I mean, think about it. On one hand, you've got this absolute genius of math and science, a true giant in the age of reason. But on the other hand, after a life-changing religious experience, he becomes this deeply committed, almost monk-like Christian. He was a man completely torn between the world of logic and proof and the world of faith and mystery.
And here's the key. This wasn't just some private struggle. It became the very engine driving his philosophy. He lived that tension between what you can prove and what you have to believe, and the Pensées are his attempt to wrestle with it all on the page.
So, what was his big idea? How did he even try to bridge these two completely different worlds?
Well, Pascal starts from a place of radical doubt. I mean, he basically says that if you leave us to our own devices, we human beings are just lost. For him, skepticism isn't a bad thing. It's the only honest place to begin, because without some kind of divine signpost, we're all just adrift.
Now get this, coming from a brilliant mathematician, this is just fascinating. Pascal was not a fan of trying to prove God's existence with pure logic, like it's some math problem. He actually thought those arguments were flimsy and made faith look weak, giving atheists an easy target to shoot down.
And that brings us to his incredible solution. Pascal said, look, reason can only take you so far. He believes that the most important truths, especially the spiritual ones, aren't grasped by the mind. They're grasped by something else, through intuition, through feeling, through what he famously called the heart.
Now, because Pascal never finished the job, the story of how the Pensées even got published is its own saga of chaos, controversy, and endless arguments.
So, picture this. Pascal dies in 1662, and his friends and family are left with these huge piles of notes. They did their best to sort them out, but nobody really knew what his final plan was. Ever since then, for centuries, editors have been shuffling and rearranging the fragments, each one trying to guess his original vision. It means that the version of Pensées you pick up today could be ordered completely differently than another one. There's no single correct version.
And as if that wasn't complicated enough, the book was considered seriously controversial. Its raw honesty about doubt and its totally unique arguments were seen as dangerous by the establishment. It was even placed on the Catholic Church's official list of forbidden books.
So you've got this book that's unfinished, disorganized, and at times even forbidden. And yet, the Pensées went on to have an absolutely staggering impact on the world.
I mean, just look at this list. The book attracted the most incredible, unlikely fan club you can imagine. Its admirers range from some of Christianity's fiercest critics, like the philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche, all the way to the leaders of the Catholic Church itself, including multiple popes. What on earth did all these different people see in this one fragmented book? Let's just consider the contrast here. You have Nietzsche, a guy who famously declared God is dead, calling Pascal the only logical Christian because he admired how unflinchingly Pascal looked at human suffering. Then, centuries later, you have Pope Francis calling that exact same work monumental. It's a book that somehow speaks directly to both the faithful and the faithless.
And that brings us full circle. The reason this box of notes became a classic is because its unfinished, messy nature is actually its greatest strength. It's not a polished, sealed-off argument. It's the raw, honest, and vulnerable diary of a brilliant mind wrestling with the biggest questions there are: faith, reason, doubt, and what it even means to be human.
So, we'll leave you with this thought.
Pascal's whole deal is that logic can't answer our deepest questions. So when you reach the end of what reason can tell you, what do you turn to? What does your heart say?